I've got new jeans today.
Wait. So
I've got new jeans today. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to today's safe space conversation with my beautiful mom. Thank you so much for joining us, and please be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below. This is my first safe space conversation, so I am learning, but I hope you take something from it. If you do, let me know. If you don't, let me know. Hope you enjoy it. Have fun. The main thing that I want to cover with each person is what is something that you feel isn't spoken enough about and should be. Like, I know that's a huge topic. It's a huge thing to cover. It's just like there is so much that needs to be spoken about.
It takes time. I mean, you must remember, people generally grow up in the age of not speaking about things, of hiding their feelings, of wearing masks. And it's very hard to take off masks because they create their patterns, and it's what you kind of get. It's like becomes your comfort zone. And the minute you take off a mask, it's like taking off makeup. You exposing yourself, and exposing yourself physically is hard enough. And imagine exposing yourself
Mentally.
Yeah, mentally, emotionally. I mean, that more than anything else.
But I think, like, for such a long time, you were my safe space. Like, I would hear these things, and I would experience these things, and I would, like, hear all these conversations and things are going on, and you were always the person that I could come to and be like, Mom, sex is something I want to talk about, or masturbation is something I want to talk about, or, like, polyamory is something I want to talk about, just, like, explore and share opinion of and just have a discussion. Like, no matter, like, not wanting an outcome, just wanting to talk about something that I'd heard.
Do you know why, though? Because of the way I grew up. So we weren't allowed to talk about those things at home. So
yeah, I mean the story of when you first got your period.
Oh, shame.
But that's scary.
I know, but going away and then
like going away on a school camp.
Yeah, it was on Feld School back in the days when we had Feld School, and having my like waking up the next morning and then my sleeping bag was wet, and I was like, oh, WTF, what's this? And then couldn't tell anybody because my mom hadn't said anything. And then when I got home and she said to me, dying. I did. No, you didn't talk about things like that. I remember when we were at the dinner table, and we were referred to as someone at school or someone being a wanker. And no, literally, I think he backhanded her and she went flying off the chair. We didn't know what the real meaning of it was. It's just a word that you'd heard, but you weren't allowed to speak.
I mean, that's a word from my generation. Like, I can't believe that I said that.
And we still lived in a place called Wanky. Anyway. Yeah, you didn't. That's why. So because I grew up not being allowed to speak about things like that, I always said that one day I would be open to those conversations, and what's the safest space to have them than with your own mother, in your own mother, with your own daughter, with your own people around you. So I think maybe thanks to my pretty strict upbringing that we can do that. That's why we can do it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's still not comfortable though.
No, I think, but it's good to have conversations that aren't comfortable as well. Like, I think the contrast of you not being told about your period and you, like, literally waking up in a, like, puddle of blood and thinking that you were dying, to you sitting me down when I was 9, drawing out the uterus, drawing out the fallopian tubes.
Maybe that's because I was a teacher.
No, but still, like, I was so I was almost like over-educated on periods. I remember like every time I would get any sort of stomach cramp in like the bottom region of my stomach, I'd run to you, Mom, I think my period's coming, it's coming, I can feel it. I swear I can feel it. Like I was like
Well, that's right.
too
I even
prepared.
had those
And then when I did get it, you took me shopping.
Yeah.
Like we like celebrated me coming into my womanhood, which was like, I think.
And chatting to women about it too, to your brother. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a big thing too, because I can't remember how that came about. I remember there was a I don't know, he found a pad or something like that. I can't even remember. And I also gave him the drawings, because you take away the emotion away from it then, and you don't make it all. And
Yeah,
that's
make
why
it
we
about
did the drawings, and I mean he wants you to die 1,000 deaths, and I think he appreciates.
But I even remember, I think like it was like the first year I had my period, and I like bled through onto my pajama bottoms, and like I washed them and then like hung them up in the bathroom, and I remember he coming to me and just being like, I saw your pants and I'm sorry, is there anything I can do for you? Like he was genuinely, like he cared, he wasn't grossed out by it, and I think because of that like education that you gave him, he just like, he wanted to help me, he wanted to help make it a bit better, and he was like, I'm sorry you had to go through that. You know, like he didn't feel.
Well, that's how it should be. That's how it should be with all those conversations.
It's always like I've been watching Gilmore Girls recently, which is like, I didn't actually know what the series was about, but it's about this mom and daughter, but it's this mom that had her daughter when she was 16, and like now the daughter is 16, and it's what their life is about. But something that just like resonates a lot with you and I is just like everything being like, no matter what it is, I've always been able to have a conversation with you about it. Like I feel like, sure, I mean, you still get angry, you still like, there's still a discipline factor involved, and there always has been, especially when it came to me being in grade 8 and wanting to go to a matrix party, like there was no discussion there. It was a very hard no.
Then the hot Italian mama, hot me.
Then the wild slapping Italian woman coming out. But just like with everything, I've always felt like I can approach you. Shut up, dude.
Part of life.
Yeah, I've always just felt like no matter what, I could approach you, even if I knew you wouldn't necessarily like the topic or whatever. Like, I knew you wouldn't judge me. Like you've always seen my soul through it all, if that makes sense. Like.
That's what it's supposed to be at the end of the day, because
Shut up, Bobby.
He's got to join in. Yeah, it took a long while to get there, because I think life's experiences teach you lots of lessons, but probably one of the biggest lessons, I've always said that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Saying that and believing that are two different things, and as you get older, I just find that you start to believe it more, because we are just bodies. This for me is just this is a covering, and what is the most important thing is the essence of who we are deep down inside, the God within us. And if we can just see everybody for who they truly are, see them for who, the essence of them, and if we could see with eyes, not these eyes, like not the eyes the human eyes, and not even, this is just sort of more the intuition eye, but to see with I like to call it God's sight, because no matter who, no matter what situation, we are all children of God at the end of the day, and it doesn't matter what you've done, who you are, what color you are, we're all connected, and
we're all beings, like we're all spirits before we are.
Exactly, that's who we truly
male, before
are.
we are female, before we are black, before we are white, before we are poor, before we are rich, everyone is.
It is, that's exactly what it is, and to just see that, and I think again, well, maybe with my upbringing, having grown up in, was Rhodesia back then, and growing up on a farm, and all the African children on the farm were my friends. I mean, that's what it was, and learning not to see colour, and then immigrating to South Africa. Wow, And that was
during apartheid.
During apartheid, 1974. Ooh. And I remember getting to the border at Beit Bridge, and first of all, we could go and get something to drink, and they didn't have. We were only used to Coke bottles, and they had cans. We didn't know how to open the cans. Because like, Mom, how do we open these? And there was like little thing you had to so just. Anyway, but
science.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll never forget like going into there were bathrooms there, toilets at Beit Bridge, and we started walking into one toilet and we got screamed at by this lady, and Lara and I were on our own, and we ran out. I remember running out. And my mom saying, what's wrong, what's wrong? And I said, don't know, we tried to go to the toilet and this lady screamed at us to get out and said we were going to the wrong toilet. And then my mom took us and she showed us the signs, and it said blankers and knee blankers, and we didn't even know what that meant, being little English Italian girls, so we didn't speak Afrikaans. But my mom was South African, so... And then that's when we realized there were toilets that were for black people and there were toilets that were for white people, and that's... I couldn't understand that. And then going to the convent as well. I went to a convent, and
where nuns were your teachers.
Yeah, where nuns were my teachers. I wanted to be a nun, but we're not going to go there.
Thank God you weren't, because I wouldn't be here.
But what was I going to say again? Oh yeah. So it was obviously an all-girls school, and we weren't allowed. Not we weren't allowed, but the other schools, government schools around us, would not play sport against us because we had black children in our school. And I remember we had to either play only against other convents, or it was...
So all convents were allowing non-whites to be in the school, but every other school wasn't?
No, that's how it was. So... that's just how it was. And I think as a result of all of that awareness that it created for me, because I never saw the difference growing up, but being exposed to the difference, I still couldn't understand. I even remember my mom saying to us one day, you know what, if we take a knife and I cut you and I cut you and I cut you, what colour is the blood all going to come out? We're going to come out the same colour. So
everything inside looks the
same. I mean, I was really blessed to grow up like that. But so that did. I wasn't as indoctrinated, as brainwashed, I suppose, as a lot of the kids were. But again, my mom allowed us to make up our own minds like that. So we were really lucky.
Like, you've always been a very intuitive person in terms of gauging people's energies, and just purely based off that, based off of the way someone hugs you, or the way that you feel their energy during a hug, you can gauge immediately what kind of person they are. And 100% of the time you have been correct. And it scares me so much.
No, but you know what, we all have that. We honestly, we all have it. We don't tap into it. I mean, I think I again, when I was growing up, and we lived on the farm in Rhodesia, and I got lost, and my mom and dad looked for me everywhere, and we had a dairy that was about, I don't know, it must have been about 3 kilometers from the house, maybe even closer, I don't know. And then we had the main house and we had the dairy, and I remember them looking for me. Well, I heard they were looking for me, and I was lost. And they were looking in the dams on the farm and everywhere. In the meantime, my nono had locked the dairy door to in the office, where the office is. And he didn't see that I was in there playing, and he locked me inside there, and everybody went home, and all the staff went off, and there I was, left in the office with the cows outside. And I remember not feeling at all scared, and I eventually remember this door opening and people running in, and here she is, and finding me, and my mom crying.
How old were you?
It's my earliest memory. I must have been about 4 years old.
Sure.
But back then already, I just kind of knew that there was, and there is. We are constantly surrounded, and we have these abilities because we all have God within us. So we have this shit inside us, you know. And we can all do it. We can connect because we are connected, and it's just about, and especially when you go into someone else's space, you connect with them. You walk past somebody and something about, you feel uneasy, or you know that you go into a situation, you just know this is right or is it wrong. So I'm going to have to have another one of these because they're melting really quickly.
But I think what you were saying about like feeling people's energies and stuff, and like how we all have it within us, I think it comes down to being able to like silence the voice of your ego. And that's something that like you taught me in the book that you made me for my 21st, was like to recognize, like to understand that your ego is going to play part in everything, but to be able to recognize the voice.
It sabotages.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what were you saying about anxiety being the ego as well? But no, that's a manipulation.
Yeah, well, a lot of these things, I mean, these are just my own thoughts and stuff, but anxiety, depression, I mean, these are all real things because I've experienced them too. However, when I look at it, that they are things that my ego uses to manipulate or try and blind me from recognizing who I truly am. That's how I see it, because although it is very real, because it feels very real, and I feel the shortness of breath, and I
feel the heart racing.
Yeah, all those things that come with it all. She's even done the medication for it all. And not being able to come out of that sort of dark side, I suppose. So for me, again, it's about what we create with our emotions, sort of like energetically speaking, and negative emotions do vibrate at a much lower frequency. So if you go and so if you're with somebody that is hard work and they're negative and they just generally not in a good space, how do you feel when you walk away from them?
You feel drained.
Yeah, you feel drained. And why have you been drained? Because you've literally been sucked of your energy.
Because lower vibrations feed off higher vibrations.
Exactly. And that is also why if you're raising your, to use it in this terminology, it's very difficult to define, but lift yourself up really is how you see it. And people then tend to want to be in your space because you help to lift them up as well. So that's, so although they are real, I kind of see it as a little ploy, like an ego ploy sitting on your shoulder going, yoo-hoo, Renata, you don't have a right to feel good right now. I would prefer it if you feel guilty. In actual fact, you should be feeling guilty. You shouldn't be enjoying life because, it's just, that's just not on, because how can I control you? And as soon as you recognize that and you go, hang on, Mr. Ego, like, go away, and
I'm allowed to enjoy things and feel joy.
But yet, having said that, I think it's also really important to go to what I call the dark side. But if you do go there, to recognize that you are there and to give yourself some time in it, because we need to grieve things but not to get stuck in it.
To understand why you're there and why it's come up.
Yeah.
But to be able to deal with it.
You have to be able to recognize it.
Basically, I think you have given me, and a lot of people, but I'm talking for myself, you've given me an incredible toolbox of dealing with life's problems. Like every situation that we've been in, you've given me an extra tool to add to my toolbox for when things go wrong, when I am faced with depression, when I am faced with anxiety, to be able to take out the spanner that you gave me, and like the screwdriver and all these things, that I am equipped now to deal with these life situations. And like I'm extremely grateful for the beautiful toolbox that you've given me, that has not only helped me but has actually helped a lot of other people through you helping me, you know, like through you.
Strange, because I've never seen it like that. Hey, I've just always seen it as me just being me, or me just or using the God that is within me. That's
and doing the best you can to
Yeah.
raise kids.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but you have like through your example, you've given me an incredible toolbox of ways to deal with conflict and confrontation and problems that life throws at you, and I could not be more grateful for having you as my mom and for
Now I'm getting looking. You don't, yeah, you don't, it's just,
but it's important to,
yeah,
to
no, the
validate
effect
it.
that you can have on people's lives is important, but you can teach them, having taught for 30 years, you can teach things, but will people
do
do it, or will they get it? And if you just keep remembering that every single soul and every single person, no matter what, is special in the eyes of God anyway, but I don't know what to say, because now the
emotions have taken over.
yeah.
You're just like, you're always the person who I can sing and dance and
Well,
everything.
just live life and
Yeah.
be happy. If you want to be happy and be sad and be all those things. Just be and be. Just be whoever it is you want to be. Whether
just
it's
be grateful for being.
yeah, and that's another great gratitude is a big thing. And stop, smell the roses. Be present in every single moment and be grateful. And the minute you are all of those things, and you allow your own light to shine, you give permission to everybody else around you to allow their light to shine as well. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. That's why we're
That
here.
is what you do every freaking day.
No, don't do it every day.
Well,
I wish I did, but kind of try.
You do it enough to have allowed so many. You've allowed me, one person, to shine my light, and that like is more than everything for making you emotional.
It's okay.
I
You know
love
I'm a big
you.
emotional
I know.
baby. Anyway.
City, off to my home. We're drying up, no singing when we in the zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, I got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally.
Wait, here comes my bass part.
So don't stop. Under the lights when everything goes. Know when I hide when I'm getting too close.
They always change the words.
Already know. Just imagine. Just imagine.
Like full ass shots. Shake what your mama gave you.
Oh, yeah.